Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. We're back, and to be honest, we're kind of just discombobulated, just laughing at what we witnessed yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It's just become a practical joke at this point. But big up the chat when you're watching this. Big up the cast and crew. Miz, the other side of the coin, brother. Tell me there's another side to the coin.
Bro, all sides are gone, bro. There is no sides, there is no coin, there is nothing. Just pretty much empty seats like Stamford Bridge, bro. Just empty seats everywhere. Look, man, I know we're going to have fun and banter today, of course. Like as we always say, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. But I think we do need to cry. I think we do need to cry a little bit and realize what a gargantuan mess that we're in. I think we need to elaborate on that.
100%. Younes, bro, talk to me. How are you? How are you feeling? Tough day.
I mean, bro. It's been horrific. I slept it off, kind of, and then this morning I'm thinking, okay, new day, fantastic. And then I get to see what Frank Lampard said in his press conference, and now I'm reliving the nightmare of last night. So I'm back to square one.
Wow.
I'm back to square
I'm looking
one.
forward to hearing what was said there. Before we get to that, Drogbaba, named after the famous Drogba. This is not what he recognizes. This is not his Chelsea. Is this? Do you recognize what you're seeing?
No, the very identity of this club is dissolving, is gone to ashes, is going just like that in front of our very eyes, to be honest. I mean, as Miss said, we are in a gargantuan mess. We've got Super Frankie Lampard. He doesn't know what we need. Unfortunately. Earlier I used to feel like that kid who gets bullied in the school every day. When you go to the school, you get bullied. All these big guys are coming to you and, beating the shit out of you. Now I feel like I'm not even relevant. I don't even exist. Like, my friends who support other clubs have stopped trolling me also. They're like, we can't go through the process every week. Chelsea lose, we come to you, come in your DMs, we troll you, we go back. They are also tired of trolling Chelsea. It is that the situation is that bad.
Yeah.
Man is
When
saying
your rivals
bullies,
start feeling sorry for you, you're in the shit.
Yeah.
man is saying bullies are now over us.
Bullies are now over us.
This
They're
is the thing.
tired of bullying us.
All the big boy bullies that everyone knows about have stopped bullying us. They're looking at us going, they're dead food, man. And now you're getting all the guys that used to get bullied starting to bully us too.
Yeah. No, that's a great description of how it's gone, because West London is truly not us. It's not under control. I've never seen Brentford tweet West London is red. I mean, I mean, it just goes to show how much we've lost the grip of our own community, of our own surroundings. We talk about, forget the rest of London, forget, absolutely, demolishing the perimeter of this city. Now we can't even keep the postcode intact. It's an insane situation. And to be quite honest, I heard it in Younes's review. Brentford didn't even play that well. I said the same thing. Like, they were, I think Miss said the same. Like, cool, they were organized. Cool, they were disciplined. Cool, they were efficient. They took their chances. But I wasn't amazed. I wasn't flabbergasted. My jaw was not dropping. The only time my jaw dropped is when I saw the lineup. In fact, I was hysterically laughing at what I saw. That lineup, and I'm going to say it again, that was the worst lineup I've ever seen. It's worse than the lineup that was away to Newcastle when it was Mason Mount, Gallagher, and Broyo as a front three. It's worse than that, because now it's Sterling as striker with Gallagher alongside him and Aspilicueta wing back. So it's really, really shit now. And it's at home. And it's when you don't have injuries to attacking players, so the context can go straight out the door. One of the things that was mentioned, and I want anybody jump in when you hear this. One of the things that were mentioned, right, is that players are not fit. So he's playing the players that are fit, the players that can press from the front. That's why we're playing Gallagher, Sterling, and Kante as a front three, with Kante on the right wing putting in crosses, because it's about pressing. It's about who has the energy. And the fitness levels are not high enough. Anybody taking that one on the chin? That reasoning?
No.
Bro, how how is it possible? I can't even stop laughing. This whole situation is so funny. How is it possible that these players, Younes and I, we were talking about this, I think it was yesterday or day before, sometime. Say, for instance, someone like João
Yesterday.
Felix, right? He was playing at Atletico Madrid. He had a preseason over there. How's he now benched at Chelsea Football Club?
Under Simeone.
Under
Same.
Simeone, who plays crazy level of off the ball work rate. How are we now saying that this guy's come to Chelsea? And I'm just taking him as an example because there are other players as well we'll get to. How's he not fit? How's he not fit?
How's Madueke, who is at PSV, not fit when we talk about pre-season? How is Badiashile, who is at Monaco, who started brilliantly, not fit?
Yeah.
Should we keep going?
I don't understand.
Exactly.
I really don't understand this whole ideology. And do you know where he contradicts himself, Frank? He goes, this is the interview. Obviously, Younes saw the post-match press conference. I saw the interview. He goes, players need to dig deep. Players need to dig deep. However, today, players gave it all. So what is
He
it?
almost said the players gave everything. He almost fucking said it.
Yeah, so what is it? Did the players give it all or they need to dig deep? Which one is it? Because you can't have both. To make I said, how much more digging can these players do? They've dug. Like, they are now like neck deep in the ground.
Bro, there was a comment on, I forgot which one of your videos it was, but someone said if they dig any deeper, they'll discover crude oil. And it's true.
Wonder what
It
the
was
shares are like.
one of my videos. I don't know.
It's actually mad at the moment. Look, first of all, if I'm a player right now, I would not believe anything Frank's saying. I literally would be looking at my team and go, put some earbuds on, buddy. This guy's about to speak, and it may damage your brain cells now.
100%.
I would not listen to a single word Frank is saying because it's ridiculous what he's doing. He's picking a team based on physical ability, apparently, and effort given. That's a bad message to the players that are in the bench, straight up. And then he comes post-match saying, I don't want to throw any players in under the bus. My man, you have.
Because there is no tactical setup, bro. You do this when you don't have any tactical setup.
Oh, no, don't worry about that. No, don't worry about, I mean, if you listen to the press conference, Frank says, no, there's nothing tactical wrong. It's fine.
See, that's the issue. As Younes said in one of his videos, the understanding of the game is at a very basic level. It's very basic. You can't manage a Premier League, we are not a top Premier League side anymore, a Premier League side like this. When you pick players based on their physicality, on how much a player can run, I mean, you have no clue what to do with the ball. I had the stream on my phone, the Chelsea Brentford, because I wanted to see the title decider on the big screen. So whenever I used to put my eyes on our game, Kovacic and Chilwell are passing to each other.
Sideways.
Nothing is happening. Sideways passing. Aspilicueta is crossing the ball inside. There is no one inside. Even if your plan is, suppose even your plan is cross and inshallah, then have someone for that cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Havertz was injured, but
Aubameyang. Yeah, Aubameyang.
Then why you put that tactic in the first place? I mean, there is no clue what is happening.
Every time we were attacking, especially after we'd conceded the first goal, brother, it was Chilwell that was a centre forward.
Mm-hmm.
At
Yep.
time. I'm
Yep.
like, what on earth is going on?
I mean, Chilwell is only the player who looks like who's giving a shit right now. Like who's
I said
fighting,
that as
who's
well.
going for
Do you know what? Do you know what's fascinating is that when you have the City game on and you have our game on at the same time, it really compounds just how shit we actually are. It really does.
I thought that. Yeah.
Like you see our players picking up the ball in areas that just don't make any sense. Like you said, I'm seeing Kante on the right wing overlapping Aspilicueta, who's getting into the box. Kante overhits the cross over to Chilwell now. I'm seeing Gallagher in the box. I'm seeing things that I never thought I would see in my life that just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's hard. At one point, I swear to you, I saw Chilwell, Aspilicueta in the box, Sterling dropping deep. Sterling dropping deep. The two wing backs were in the box. Sterling was dropping deep to try and get the ball. And I think Kante was either in the box as well. I mean, I swear to you, I thought I was in a simulation.
Couple of times when we were on the break, when we had that opportunity to counter attack, there was urgency. There was this ball moving very quickly. But when we get to the final third, blank, brain fart. Players don't know what to do next. Like they're looking for their teammates because counter attacks are very instinctive. The chemistry must be there. If you have to execute a perfect counter attack, you should know without even seeing that your teammate must be there. The great counter attacking teams that you see, they know instinctively where their teammates are, where they need to pass the ball, how they have to finish. Nothing. We just look for options, give time for the other team to regroup, and the opportunity is gone. And even if we are to make any chances, we won't finish it. Chelsea can't score in a brothel, bro.
For real. You know, every time Chelsea launch an attack, and you see this phase of play repeated time and time again. You look at again, like you could look at City, and I was doing the same thing. I was watching City Arsenal, and then they'd have an action or they'd score or something. And I'd be like, wow, okay. And I look at Chelsea, I'm like, flip it now, man. I've got to pull my hair out because every time we were launching an attack, you see what players are in what positions moving into or in the direction of the box, and then the same action of play is repeated again a few minutes later, and the same players are in completely different areas of the pitch. And I'm like, what's the plan? Like, what are you guys actually trying to execute here? Then they show you the replay, whether it's a ball coming from the side or whether it's Kovacic on the ball, driving it forward, sends it wide. You see players coming into the box again. Normally, you'd think it's the same shape. It's players taking the same structure because we have a plan, right? That's what we would think. And then we'd look at this and go, okay, I get it. But every time we repeat, it's different. You know, Gallagher at one time's in the middle, now hugging the corner flag. At one point, Kovacic is on the edge of the box. Next thing you know, he's sitting by the halfway line. At another point, Chilwell is hugging the left-hand flank. All of a sudden, he's next to the goalkeeper. Kante is on the right-hand side hugging that touchline. Next thing you know, he's next to Gallagher in the box. What's going on? What's going on?
And the worst part is when we say that we can beat these teams, Brentford were on a 6-game winless run. Brentford did not win a game since last 6 games, and lo and behold, we come in and we handle
Arsenal next, who are needing a win.
No, they will punch. They'll pump us. Absolutely, they will.
Arsenal will beat us 3-0, 4-0 minimum.
I just want to say, you know how after every game we do this post-mortem, we come together. I just want to know, is anyone actually sitting down with Frank Lampard and doing this with him as well and saying, brother, okay, you're the interim manager, no problems, you're the interim manager, but can you explain to me what was the thought process, the planning, the entire week? Let's not forget, you had a week to prepare that lineup and that game plan. Can you explain when you were doing the planning with the players, what was going through your head, that where would the goals come from and how would you build up? How would it look in the midfield? How would it look in the final third? What did you sell to the players to actually go, okay, we'll try and execute this plan and see what happens? Like, what? Surely everything that we just said, Kante in the wings, sometimes in the box, Aspilicueta and Chilwell sometimes in the box. Surely that's not how Frank sold the plan to the players. Surely not.
Look at what Thomas Frank and Lopetegui have been saying the last couple of weeks about our team.
Oh, it's a joke.
I was going to say
it's a joke.
Thomas Frank
and
yesterday.
And you know what I want to add on to this as well? People are going and saying, you know, it doesn't matter if we have Potter, if we have Lampard, it's the players.
No.
I said, what a low standard of management to go off as to whether or not these players are up to it or not. What a low standard of management to base that hypothesis on. A playing group that last season were in 2 cup finals under sanctions, that were in the top 4 when the club were going through one of those most testing, tumultuous times in history. These players couldn't even get flights, getting on buses. We're seeing people are unemployed, and we've added new players to that. So unless we've got the personalities completely wrong, We haven't sold anyone. It's the same players that went through that with Thomas Tuchel. But now, this season, the narrative is they've completely they just don't care. Now, don't get me wrong, we are playing like shit, and I am seeing players that don't care. But I'm not gonna lie to you, they're human beings.
Exactly.
I wouldn't give two shits either at this point. Look at what they've had to go through. You have to look at the ownership, and you have to look at the managers that they've hired since Thomas Tuchel. Because I'm sorry, whether it's Potter's a decent coach, but he speaks like as if we're at a funeral, and he doesn't want to win, or he doesn't really care. Or it's like, oh, you know, there's no slap on the wrist if anybody's out of line, and other players are seeing that. Imagine if your colleague drops a stinker at work, fucks up the entire account, fucks up the entire files, messes up on customer service, and your manager's just like, oh, don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't worry. It's all good. Of course, complacency is going to set in around the team. It's human nature. It's natural.
Yep.
And when you take a look at all of the upheaval and all of the confusion and all of the craziness that's been going on around the playing squad, with more players coming in and no players leaving, and people are playing Nintendo DS outside the change rooms because there's no space. Of course it's going to be a mess. But this is where you cannot then consequently go and double down with a poor manager, because it only inflames the situation. It only makes it 10 times worse. I'm not here to tell you that, oh, if we never sacked Tuchel, we wouldn't be having a tough season. Maybe we would have came 6th. Maybe. But we would not be 11th. We would not, because like I said, that person has already managed us in tough situation. Can you imagine if we had Lampard during sanctions? Lord Jesus, every single thing that could go wrong would go wrong because we're in sanctions, because excuse. We got to 2 cup finals in tough times. Don't tell me this team and don't tell me this club cannot go through tough times, cannot manage tough situations. I'm not here to tell you it's going to be perfect, but I expect to at least score a goal outside of Gallagher being a deflection for goal of the month. I expect to see at least 1 win every 5 games. What a disgusting expectation that is to even ask for. It's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous, the situation that we're in. It's unacceptable. I can't even fathom what the fuck is going on anymore. We are turning up at home to teams in 10th when we're 11th, dead rubber games, and we're playing 3-6-1s. I don't want to hear where Gallagher actually was. I'm putting him as a 6-1 because this guy is a midfielder. He's a midfielder being asked to press from the front and be an attacker. It's a joke. It's actually a joke.
This is why for the past so many weeks since Potter got sacked, I've said it and I've been getting heat for it as well. I said, look, put yourself in the player's shoes for a second. Is that an environment that you can actually operate? It's not. I'm not saying the players are blameless. They are culpable. They are culpable as well. But look at the shambolic decision making when Thiago Silva comes out and says, we've been indecisive all throughout the year, and the very first thing was a mistake. I think he's referring to Thomas Tuchel.
Yep.
When he said the very first thing was a mistake. If Thiago Silva, an experienced member, after the Real Madrid game comes out and talks like that, you can tell where his mental state is. It's not a coincidence that his wife, Bel Silva, on a regular basis tweets out negative stuff. Well, not negative, realistic stuff about the club. If a player's wife is thinking like that, you best believe to the bottom level person in the club, they're all thinking like that. They're all thinking like
100%.
that. And
Because, bro, it's just been downgrade after downgrade. Even from Bruno to Lampard is feeling like a downgrade.
Yeah.
mad downgrade.
And that was
Mad
his first time picking a team.
And this is what I've been saying, that you can bash maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players max.
Yeah.
You cannot bash 35
Everyone.
players in the squad.
Everyone. Nobody's playing. Nobody looks like themselves, bro. Not a single player. Are they all bad? Are they all toxic? Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. You know, no, look, you have to understand, and I've said this a few times. I would say across the season, because when things accumulate and they accumulate and they accumulate, you can't expect players to just be robots. Do you know what I mean? Are there players there that are genuinely not good enough just to be at Chelsea Football Club overall? Yes, I agree. But the entire squad, you can't expect fans to be reacting the way that they're reacting. We now literally not even week after week, every half week, like every 3-4 days we play a game, we lose. This is how we react. But you best believe the players are exactly the same,
100%.
if not more, right? They're not just going to be in the dressing room or they're going to be at Cobham the next day just going, okay, we are ready to train. Let's listen to Frank. Forget the fact that we've just lost 6 on the bounce or 5 on the bounce, or we're going to turn into flipping 10 or 11 at this rate. They're not going to rock up to train and go, no, we're ready to train. Let's go. But they're not going to do that. They are going to feel completely devastated and they're going to be broken. Right now, they're all destroyed.
They're destroyed.
Mentally, they are destroyed.
Bro, because this is embarrassing for them as professionals. People think that players of this level that have gone through the ranks of academy, broken into Manchester City, potentially best Premier League sides of all time, Centurions, etc., are now dropping the bag because they don't care. Let me clear this up. You do realize that these players, they have to look at their friends in terms of other footballers in the face in 11th. Do you know how, as a professional, how damaging this is for your own pride, for your own career? Do you know how embarrassing it is for your own reputation? It's shocking. This does not help you make a summer move if you're looking for an exit to play this poorly. Your wages are on the line here in terms of how much you're going to get offered from other clubs when they're seeing these performances. This is not something that anybody's getting any pleasure out of. You don't turn up to work to play like this, to perform like this. It can't be by accident that everybody looks like absolute crap. And it's very difficult for me to go and talk about player performance on an individual basis in a game like yesterday because everybody's in the wrong position. How can I get at anyone for making errors in the final third when none of them should be even there in the first place?
This is the thing. When you look at things tactically on that aspect, 100%, there are players that are playing in roles that they shouldn't be playing in the first place. But when you look at on an individual level, I think a lot of fans look at players on an individual level. And they just expect when you look to analyze players on an individual level and then they come collectively as a group that it'll all just be okay. It's not how it works. A player can actually be good, right? But still be completely affected about the players around him. And when you understand the dynamic of a dressing room, and this is where I honestly say, if you've played football at any level, and I don't mean like in your local area having a kickabout. I mean, if you've played a consistent level of seasoned football, 11 aside in some sort of a season, right? Season in, season out. You're part of a dressing room. You understand that dynamic. It applies at every single level, from top to bottom. That dynamic of a dressing room, you can be good, but if your teammates around you are not playing as they should, or they're affected, or they're down, or what your performance is coming down, there's not you ain't gonna save them, unless you're special, unless you're you are Messi reincarnated or something. You go, screw it, give me the ball, and you just go and do it yourself, which is really, really rare. But as a dressing room, this is where we go back to the whole point of it being like a sacred environment. It's between all of you and that manager, and what happens there stays there. But that what happens in that dressing room affects everybody, and what happens on the pitch affects everybody. You can be feeling good, your teammates put in a bit of a stinker, or you're playing in a role you shouldn't, and then your performance is affected. Boom, you do that enough times, you're going to start doubting yourself. Even though it's technically not your fault, but you're going to start doubting yourself and going, flipping now, man, this is terrible. What's going on? You just start getting in within yourself. When it happens to everyone in the squad, but it's finished. It's finished.
And you know what? The point about the dressing room, and this is why I was so critical recently, and it was so crazy to hear Kepa say the owners come to the dressing room on a regular basis. No problems. I mean, that in itself sounds weird to me. But the fact that Todd Boehly and Iqbali recently, after the
Madrid game,
it wasn't the Madrid one. It was the other shambolic one.
Brighton
game. After the Brighton game, that they went to the dressing room and actually asked the players
That you're not good
Why
enough.
aren't you performing with the level of money I paid for you and the reputation you carry? A lot of the Chelsea fans were actually trying to justify that fact that he's the owner. He has the right to do that, Miz. No, he don't. He don't. That destroys everything. Of course, he has the right to do anything, but that doesn't mean go and just do it. Imagine going up. You're the owner. You go up to 35, 34 player squad in a dressing room after a embarrassing loss against Brighton, who outplayed us. And the first thing you say is, I paid X amount of money for you. Why aren't you performing? What do you think is going to happen after that?
Exactly.
What do you actually expect these players to do after that? Did they set the price tag?
There we are.
Did they set the price tag?
There we are.
Did Sterling say,
The
pay
owners
50
are-
million for me?
Owners are panicking. It's getting out of hands, and the only thing they seem fit is that we directly confront the players, and if we do this, they might turn up. Last stream we had discussed that the only way this can get better is if we announce the manager right now, so that the players will have something to look forward to. It would exude some kind of positivity back into the squad. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, I agree.
Each and every week, but the agreement with Pochettino is closer. Chelsea are much closer. I mean, where is he? We are not able to get him.
Well, we better be careful now. I hope he doesn't switch off after yesterday.
Yep. I mean, the really bad thing is that we had a World Cup winner, a superstar signing, and he's come down to the level of the other players who are subpar and who haven't been performing.
This
There we are.
happens every single time.
Yeah.
This happens every single time.
And-
The new
and if
players
you-
we buy always get off to pretty decent starts. Sometimes it's one game, sometimes it's 60 minutes for Felix against Fulham, sometimes it's a cameo appearance for Mudryk, sometimes it's a couple of games for Sterling. You know,
Then they come back
Koulibaly
silent.
scoring against Tottenham. And then they always drop to whatever standard we are running. And it's
Exactly.
like, how many more players can come through the door and be toxic?
There we are. This is
we,
what I'm
we
saying.
are, we are the common denominator, no?
100%. This is why it goes back to what operates in the dressing room. This is what goes back to how the entire team is playing. When, as I said, when you're a good footballer overall, you are a top footballer, and everyone around you stinks right now, or the manager is doing things that are inexplicable, but you're coming down. You ain't saving it. You're coming down to that level. Simple as that. And you can't change that. That's how it is. You know, it's incredible when you look at the situation now overall, and you look at a Todd Boehly, like Miz has just said, going into the dressing room, and instead, I'm not saying don't go into the dressing room when you have a performance like we had against Brighton, for example, right? Or even yesterday. I'm not saying don't go into the dressing room ever, but if you go into the dressing room and you talk to the players and you go, guys, like, what's going on? Like, can I get some sort of explanation from all of you? Like, what is actually what's happening here? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, what's going on in your heads? Someone explain to me so I have a better picture on how to solve this. Let me help you. You go in from that angle compared to, I've paid this amount of money. This is what you're doing. You're a disgrace. When those same players don't have a say on the amount of money that's paid for them, or the amount of money that they're paid because their agents have to deal with all of it, right? Or their transfer fees. Kai Havertz, for example, we paid 70 odd million for him, but did he have a say in that? Well, no. Is that going to change his performance? Well, no. Kai Havertz will do what Kai Havertz can do. That's it. You know, you can't go up to him and go, "Oh no, I've paid this much. You need to be giving me, X because I've paid Y." That's not how it works, and that tells me that this is where the doubt comes in. The owners. Honestly, now you don't understand how football works. Simple. You don't understand how football works. If you come out with a line like that of "I've paid this much money" in front of all the players, why aren't you doing X, for example, or putting in this certain much because I've paid this much money? You have no idea how players or a team or a dressing room or a dynamic works. You have no clue. Instead of going and telling me, "Can I get into your heads? Help me. What's going on?" That would have been better, 100%. Because then you might actually find a solution.
And to add to that, the thing which I'm most fearful about is these things, especially these results and this behavior of owners confronting the players in such manner, this might do an irreparable damage to these players'
Yeah.
mentality,
This is what I was getting to. Yep.
Yeah.
which the new manager might not be able to solve also. This is the most alarming thing right now that we need to take care of, because just like winning is a habit, losing is also a habit. And if you are in the rut, because seriously, there is nothing to play for. We won't get relegated. I was analyzing
Somebody actually mathematically had to tell us on Twitter with real calculations and real going through the fixtures and comparing Leicester and Everton and Nottingham Forest and how many times they play each other and all that kind of stuff, and calculated it's almost physically impossible for us to
see.
That is exactly what I did this morning. I got to 34 games for everybody, and I was like, we're still 9 points ahead. So
see, if Everton and Forest win 5 game out of their next 6, or Everton win their 5 game out of next 6, so this is something of an anomaly that will happen, but it won't happen. So there is actually nothing to play for. Players know they won't get relegated. Lampard knows he's out when the season is done. There is no motivation. There is actually nothing at stake. So might as well play Gallagher as a false 9. Who cares?
But going back to the point that you made, Baba, in regards to, okay, we've all seen bad seasons at Chelsea Football Club, right? We've witnessed previously under Jose Mourinho, second stint when we ended up coming 10th. We also witnessed it under Antonio Conte the season after he won the Premier League. It was never this bad. It was.
No, this is the worst season I've ever witnessed.
You know, Miss,
worst.
why? You know why? Why? Because even in our worst of our seasons, we had something to play for. Even when we were down and out, either we had an FA Cup where we were in the semi-finals or the finals. The season when Di Matteo got sacked, we went far in the. We won the Europa League. In fact, we did not go far. We won the Europa League. We got eliminated in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Apart from 15-16 season, even then also Goose Hitting did a pretty decent job to steer the ship and get us to those 50 points and make us finish 10th. What happened in the first and second week of March? We beat Dortmund, we beat Leicester, and we had a couple of good performances here and there. As soon as we drew that game against Everton, we lost against Aston Villa, and we were down and out against Madrid. We knew we had nothing to play for. So the motivation was gone.
But this is where I'm worried about. See, I feel like back then, there were a lot of mature players that could easily switch back on. I'm worried about this set of players where the damage that has happened this season, I'm worried that people just think, just get me to preseason. They'll just think, I don't think this is like a Men in Black kind of thing where you just put the black thing and they just forget. I think this stays with some of these players, man. I'm telling you right now.
I agree.
If you go through the players, there's not much leadership there.
None.
See,
Like they're all just looking at each other thinking, like there's no Terry or Drogba or
This is what I'm saying.
there's nobody to turn to and be like, yo, what the fuck is going on? They're like, don't worry about it. We're going to sort this shit. We're going to have a captain's meeting. Do you remember when we used to have captain's meetings? Now we have Kepa wearing the armband. Then we have Kova wearing the armband. Then we have Kante wearing the armband. Then we have Aspilicueta wearing the armband. Like captain's meeting my arse. We don't even have captains.
If we talk about the teams who are doing well in the league, say let's talk about Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool for that matter. They have been struggling this season, but let's take their example. All of these teams have a spine. Arsenal have made a spine. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Thomas Partey, Ben White. This is a spine. These 5-6 players will be there for the next 6-7 seasons. Man City have a spine. Liverpool will have to refresh and will add some players. They have to move on from some players, will have to refresh, but they will have a spine. We don't have a spine right now, apart from Enzo or maybe Mudryk. I don't know. Mudryk does not get a start. He hasn't played 90 minutes, or has he?
Mudryk ain't no spine.
Not yet. Maybe once.
Maybe once.
Maybe not even.
See,
That's what I know.
We don't have a spine. From an ability standpoint, I agree with you, Enzo. But from a leadership standpoint, we don't have a spine at all.
So if we talk about 4 to 5 players, like we always had, this for me is the 5. Like these 5 players were the foundation for me. Peter Cech, Ashley Cole, Michael Essien, Lampard, Drogba, Terry. These 5-6 players were the spine of that team. Because even if we had sacked managers, we knew that these players were there and we will do well, no matter the style, the tactical setup, the philosophies. Even under Scolari, compared to this, we were not that bad. We were raging, but we were not this bad under Scolari also, because we had those players. So right now, if I were to ask every one of you that name 4 players or 5 players you would think that will make us fine in the coming 4 to 5 seasons, who would those 4 or 5 players be?
Honestly,
Reece
I
James and
couldn't tell you.
Enzo, maybe.
I don't even know about Reece James anymore. to be honest.
James, not even.
I'm not sure if he's gonna be around, like not
Well, his
going
body
to a
will
different
take
club. Can his body take it? This
He needs to
guy's
have a
not
surgery
available.
ASAP, and then we can see.
Well, apparently he won't take a surgery.
Apparently
He won't need it. Like Frank said that he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a backbone, you won't stand straight. As simple as that.
We can't even crawl now. Forget about standing straight. We can't crawl. We can't roll. We're just flat on our back.
Like
this.
if you go back to like the Champions League winning team, Rudiger, big personality.
Huge.
Like if you were to go through that team, who are the big personalities? I'm not talking about nice guys like Chilwell and Gallagher that we see on Clubhouse and do really good interviews. I'm talking about actual big time personalities. You can go through that team, and I'm telling you, outside of maybe, and Silva is a tough one because does he even speak English?
See, the thing about Silva is it's not even about speaking English. I don't think he feels it anymore.
Do you know what? If he wants to go to Brazil, because I saw a report, if he wants to go to Brazil at the end of the season, I give him my best blessings. No 39-year-old man should have to go through this. I'm sorry.
Sure.
No 39-year-old man
the career he's
should have to
had
go through this.
Yeah, man.
Shouldn't have to go through
week
this.
in, week out, his team is losing. But he ain't no loser, bro. He ain't no loser.
Bro, he's a serial winner.
Yeah. We're lucky
He's
to have
got to
him.
look after his legacy as well.
He has leadership, but I'm wondering if he's able to communicate what he really feels effectively. Do you know what I mean? But you go through that team, but with Silva, actions should speak louder than words anyway. If people look at Silva, they should immediately just they should understand. He should be able to, you know, when you just look in someone's eyes, you should just know what he's saying.
Yeah.
You go through the rest of the team, you can't. There's just there's just everybody is just weak. It's not that they don't. It's not. Listen, there's been some games where they've been absolutely shambolic and they've capitulated and they've been awful. But on the general, throughout the season, on average, it's not about they just completely don't care. If it's a couple of individuals that don't care, don't play them. But if we're talking about the general consensus, it's not about them not giving a damn. It's about the league has become more tactical, more systematic than it was 10, 15 years ago. So now the managers need to be even better than they were 10, 15 years ago. Because it's the De Zerbis and it's the Emerys. And it's not easy. You need to set up properly. And the teams are no longer, from an individual standpoint, of the levels of Riquelme, Zidane, Pablo Aimar, where they could just think of things along the way. Yeah. They all need to be told exactly what they need to do next. They need to be told what is the plan, because thinking for themselves requires a level of ability that they don't have. They're not Eden Hazards. They can't just weave through 4 or 5 players, debunk an entire system and score. They need a plan. And the problem is that plan is not in place, or when that plan has been put in place by Potter, is not put with any conviction or any sort of consequence if that plan is not put through. Because he's too soft. The problem is that for me, when I look through this team, I see a lot of players that there's no spine there whatsoever, like you said. But even when they walk out the tunnel, I don't feel anything for them. There's nothing there. It's just like, we have to do it. And again, like I said, when you have all of this disruption around the club, I don't fully blame them. But it's like, this is why we're not getting results, because we have no clear system or style. We have no real serious intricate tactics that can compete with the rest of the league. If we take a look at our currently interim manager, he would fall in the bottom 3 for quality of managers in the league. And then on top of that, all of that, then we have too big of a squad. So there's people that are disgruntled naturally, as they would. And then on top, because if you had a 35-man squad in any team, in this league, there's going to be problems. We even see it with Nottingham Forest at the early part of the season. They were struggling because the team was too big. They signed like so many players. And then on top of that, we don't have anybody who can carry us because they don't have the individual ability or the or the leadership. They might, I'm not even going to say mentality because Gallagher wants to carry us. He has the mentality to carry us. He doesn't have the ability to do it. So when you put it all together, how the hell are we going to get results? We don't have the system because systems can bail out the players that are not as good because you put it all together and everybody just does their actions and it causes a reaction of a good performance. We don't have the individual quality. We don't have the leadership. We don't have the manager. What do we have? What do we have to go up against this league? And we have too many players. What do we have? We have nothing.
And this comes down to one source only, and that is the ownership. They've lost all control of the whole setup here.
Yeah.
Right? I was thinking the other day, when little kids are causing a ruckus, they're causing chaos, and other people look from afar, they generally don't think, oh, these kids are so nasty, they're so foul. The first thing that pops up in their head is
bad parenting.
What sort of parents have these kids got? Like they've not taught them well enough. Very few will actually sit there and go, these are nasty kids, man. They're so poor, so bad. This is like us now. Our players, our manager, we're like kids. We shouldn't be focusing too much on them. We should be focusing on the parents, that is the caretakers of the club. They really need to, at the end of this season, sit down, talk to the board of directors and go, give me your honest assessment on how we have managed so far this season. Honest assessment. Tell me everything, where I went wrong, what I did, this, that, the other, because they need to improve as well. If more than anything, I think the owners are the first thing they need. They're the first ones they need to improve for next season. Before we can even talk about Poch and his objectives and the player objectives, owners, every single mistake you did this season, can you improve next season? Because they have objectives as well. They cannot be going post a afternoon restaurant renaissance, coming out of it and being asked, what do you think the score is going to be against Real Madrid, and say, 3-0, 3-0. No. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Know your place. As The Rock would say, know your role and shut your mouth. Know your role and shut your mouth. This time around, this is honestly, we've now obviously spent a lot of time arming and mooring and being sad. I think the focus should be, what can we do next season? I would love to see the owners give the keys to the board and let Poch and the board come up with a solid plan for the preseason and work with the players in terms of conditioning, in terms of preparing us for next season. And whatever discussions happen between the board and the manager, let it be between them. And the final conversation of it, the summary, goes to the owner, and they basically get a recommendation. It's either yay or an A, they'll sign, and that's it. Don't get into the nitty-gritty, as Younes would say. Do not get into the nitty-gritty, the owners. Please. You don't need to. Not in these areas. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of stadium redevelopment, for sure. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of sponsorship, for sure. Don't get into the dressing room often enough asking players about their price tag, this, that, the other. Stay away from the players as much as you can. Show up at the right time. After a brilliant achievement or something. Right? Or if it's like continuous losses, like now, once in a while, sure. Stay away from media, stay away. I get the feeling our owners, they're enjoying all of this as well. Lots of articles, lots of clicks, everyone's channels buzzing, views. Do you know what I mean? They're loving it. I feel like it's an American style of running an organization. It's like shebang. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of loud noise. They got to bring that noise down a little bit. I think that's the start they have to learn for me. Number one.
This is with the owners though, like that. Personally, like there's doubts. We spoke about this yesterday, didn't we? In terms of are their intentions, in the right place? Yes. But if you've got owners that have their intentions in the right place and they actually don't know what they're doing, that's actually more dangerous than someone that doesn't have their intentions in the right place. When you look at the Glazers, or you look at Enik, or you look at other owners that are blatantly sabotaging the footballing aspect for the business side, right? When you look at us, like it's not easy to just fork out 600 million in a January window. That shows like, we want to grow the team. Here you go. Here's the money. Boom. The magic trick. Abracadabra. What happens, right? So their intentions are there, but every decision they've made going forward now, so far up until this point, has been wrong. So going forward, there's doubts. Now it's crazy when I see comments like yesterday. I had a few comments on my review from fans that are fairly older, and I had quite a few. I wasn't expecting it, but I had quite a few.
Same.
Did you get them?
Because I'm starting to think that our form is so bad that it's forcing the older generation to type. And they don't want to type. They want to chill. They want to sit and relax. And big up to the over 50s if you're watching.
Shout out,
They want to sit. Make me get my laptop out.
Bro, these guys, they're watching, but they just want to watch from afar. They don't want to be in the comments. They don't want to be in the live chat. They just want to watch and listen and agree and disagree with them and have their conversations in the living room. And I love that. I love the silent viewers because I know they're there. It's not every day that you see the direct, but these guys are having to get their phones and they're having to get their devices and they're having to ask their kids for the iPad. Yo, run dad the iPad. Run dad the iPad. What do you need it for, dad? Don't worry about it.
Matisse talking. Run me
the iPad now. Run me the iPhone. Log it in first, yeah? Whatever the code is. And get me onto that YouTube app right there. Get it up. The fact that they're having to comment just goes to show how shit we actually are. I'm hearing people say, never in my life of supporting Chelsea have ever seen this. I've been supporting this club for 35 years. I've never seen this. Bro, the fact that we're seeing these comments is insane. It's insane.
Bro, I had someone come in and go like, I've supported this club for 55 years. Someone else replied to that person going, yeah, I've been supporting for 57 years. Honestly, people that have been around for years, and we're talking about when we were almost, going into the third division, after getting relegated in the 80s, and having to claw ourselves back up to the first division, they referenced all of that and went, not even that was like this, because at least back then we didn't have money.
The expectations were lower. Exactly.
Back then it was. We see ourselves as a decent team. We've gone down, but we lack resources. We're not, flipping minted beyond belief. We'll do what we can, and it wasn't good enough. But you dealt with it. I guess that's the impression I got from them that were talking about that sort of time. But now, this is the thing. But now, with all the money, with all the resource and the tools that we have at our disposal. Every single one of them in the comments were going, I've never ever experienced it or seen it like this. Like, this is the worst I've ever seen my club ever. Simple.
I was saying on my watch along, I know people go to the game, and sometimes for people going to the game, it's almost religious. It's something that is it's absolutely imperative for their weekly routine. It's something that they've done forever in their lifetime. It's something that holds them together. It's something that brings them relief.
Yeah.
For me, football, absolutely love it. We'll watch every Chelsea game. But best believe if I'm going to the stadium, and I've been to games, I've been a regular match goer and now content creator and before international fan in Ireland. I've done it all. The only thing I haven't done is wake up at 3 a.m. like Miz and watch this shit. and Bubba as well. But if I'm going there physically, best believe I need to see my money's worth. I need to see entertainment. There's no way I could go and watch this. It is absolutely shambolic. There's no way I could actually physically take myself to the stadium and know when I'm at Earl's Court Station, when I see that lineup and I know what I'm in for. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I've got a girlfriend. I've got friends. I've got lovely restaurants I want to eat at. I'm sorry. There's no way. There's no way. Life is too short. Life is too short to be that angry before a game has kicked off. That is the third or fourth time this season that I would be fuming before the game started. And I don't understand how we've got into a position where before the game even kicks off, we're angry. How do you do that? Do you know how insane that is?
Not even just angry. Like yesterday, we all look at the lineup and go, "We've lost." You know, you can be angry.
That's a L.
But bro,
you can be angry.
If it was against Man City, you could get it, right?
Exactly.
It's against Brentford, bro.
And even then, you'd expect us to not even for where we should be. You'd expect us to have a game against Man City, for example, see the lineup and go, "All right, yeah, we'll give it a go."
Yeah,
it's going to be, yeah, you
tough,
know what? We can win. We can win. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
like you know that fake optimism. We can't even have that. Bro,
Brentford at home, and we're looking at the lineup and going, "Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap." not even I'm angry or no, I don't agree with this lineup, man. Oh man, no. But deep down you think, no, we should still be able to win, but we're making it tough on ourselves. No, not even that. It's we look and go, no, we've lost. We've lost.
Do you know what the crazy part is?
Inexplicable, bro.
Do you know what the crazy part is? And we touched on this earlier on, right? We said Brentford really, they didn't even do anything. They just literally looked at us.
They showed up.
A team has to go through the motions, and they.
Do you know when you clock in for work and you just do a normal day and you leave?
Yeah.
That's what they did. That's what they did.
They clocked on, then they sat, they saw, and they go, okay.
And they left.
I'll clock off.
They said what?
And the standards have gone so down that if a player makes two runs behind the defensive lines,
bro,
yeah, he'll get a comp. If he string together 4 passes, he was not that bad.
I can't believe
it's a basic thing that a footballer needs.
I can't believe
Mudryk comps are going wild now, and I'm like,
I can't believe people are still making comps.
I thought I finished that with them.
They're still taking. I can't believe people are still taking time out of their day to make comps of these performances. Like, again, some people will say, I can't believe you're taking time out of your day to talk about this. I'm in a blessed position that I will never take for granted that I can actually safely say I do this full time and I'm paid to talk about football. And I would not trade it for the world. But this season has put me in foul moods. It's made me walk into the kitchen when dinner's made and I should be in such a joyous mood because the food is so nice. And I'm in the biggest strop of my life. And I feel sorry for the ones around me sometimes. I really do. I feel sorry because I'm just like, I'm so sorry, but you don't understand what I'm going through right now. Because you have to really, really love your club to watch this shit and actually continuously do it and not let it. I'm sorry, it has to affect you, or just in normal day to day. The way I'm walking around angry right now is insane. Like that, I didn't get over that performance until about 3 a.m. I didn't go to sleep until about 3 a.m. I could not go to sleep. I was just going through the TL, just trying to see what everybody else was thinking. Like I couldn't, and I was coming off that, and I was going to listen to your reviews, and then I tried my best to laugh at Arsenal's demise yesterday. I tried, but even me in the heat and the height of my shamelessness, I could not care less. I swear to you, I couldn't care less. I was there to laugh on the downfall. I knew they would lose. I couldn't wait to run up AFTV. I couldn't wait to listen to Robbie's fan cam. By the way this team played and the mood they put me in, I didn't even care anymore. I locked off my watch along before that Man City game was even over. I missed the last 2 goals. I could not care less. This team always take priority for me. It doesn't matter how many times I try to put priority on something else, or I try to say, oh, you know, who cares? I actually agree with Lampard. The season is not over. It's not. Do you know what this season is now, right now?
Yeah.
It's preseason. And you are wasting it. That's how I see this right now. You're wasting preseason. You have an opportunity to lay down the barest of foundations. You have the opportunity to put down the foundations of the house. No one's asking you to build it. Just put down the bare bone foundations.
Do you know?
And we're not even getting that because the team is a mess when it's selected.
Was the first time when I woke up. I woke up at 2:30 a.m. Right? I woke up at 2:30 a.m.
I'm sorry.
Had a shower.
Oh God.
And then I was like, I really don't want to do this watch along. I'd rather just sit down, quietly watch the Man City versus Arsenal game and laugh at Arsenal. And I'll do a review later on about the Chelsea game. I really don't want to do it. And the biggest reason I ended up coming back and doing it is because I started getting messages from people. Hey, Miz, is there a watch along happening? Like,
yeah.
I did it because I know there's at least 300 to 400 on a regular basis that are waiting for me to give some sort of commentary, some sort of entertainment, because
therapy,
exactly, because they're going through the same thing as me, and they expect that since we're all going through pain, let's go through pain together. Let's not.
And I would feel like a content creator if I left them in their darkest days and their darkest hours and packed up shop. So I
was like, do you know what? There's seriously people who are probably finding this situation so difficult. They just need to be around people to get over it. Do you know what I mean? Just to get past it. And I mustered up all the energy. I turned it on, set everything up. And the first thing I saw was a lineup. And I said to the people, I really didn't want to do this. I did not want to do this. But here we are. And then I started calling people, and yeah, somehow we managed through that particular game. Lucky there was the Man City and Arsenal game. Seriously, if that wasn't around, I think that would have been.
Do you know what this season's taught me? I can handle not winning. You know, I can handle it. If we were not Chelsea, this massive institution, say we were just a Bournemouth,
Norwich,
I could handle it. You know,
I was going to say Norwich.
If we were like a Bournemouth, I swear to you, I could handle it. It's the expectation that kills. It's the expectations. That's what kills you.
Yeah.
It's the hope that kills you. It's the money spent and the big name players and the quality that we have and the ticket prices and the rivals demanding something from us. And the fact that we demand something from ourselves. If there was no expectation and we didn't spend loads of money and we didn't have really expensive tickets and we were just a bottom half table club and we knew what we were walking into when the season started, and we would hope for that overachievement every now and then, and we looked upon the big six and we were like, oh my God, I can't stand this lot. I swear it'd be so much more easy to compute because I'd be able to logistically understand what's going on and I'd be able to compartmentalize it. I can't compartmentalize this. I can't.
No.
Because it's unacceptable. Because if I was a fan of another club in any level, and I'm looking at us right now, I'm thinking, how the hell do you guys move like this? You have everything. You have everything at your feet. It's like watching a rich person throw money off the boat. Do you remember that guy? Who's that rapper that did that? I was so angry when I watched it. It's like watching a rapper just going like that off the boat. Yeah. Free money, and you're just throwing it into the Atlantic Ocean when that could go to charity, when it could go to the homeless, and you're just doing that. That makes me angry. Yeah. This is the equivalent of that. For the clubs that don't have the money, they don't have the resources. For the clubs like Brighton, who are scouting South American dons every day, and this new kid turns up on the block yesterday and scores in his debut. You're making the best out of a situation. You're doing that 9 to 5, and you're getting the best out of that maybe minimum wage job, or That's commendable. That's respectable. That's something that you can look at and say, do you know what? Fair play. You're not the richest. You're not the wealthiest. You know that you're not potentially going to be Premier League winners in your lifetime and you're not going to win the lottery, but you're doing what you need to do. I respect that. We're not that. We are that classless rich kid that got a Mercedes on his 16th and is just taking the absolute piss right now. Every decision just mad, not making no sense with nothing. That's what we're on. And it's horrible to watch. Because if I wasn't us, I would not like us right now. I really wouldn't.
And this is what it comes down to. And I said it post-match, that how Frank still is in the job is mad to me. Like, all throughout this season, these owners have not made the right decision in regards to a manager. A lot of people will say, is at least they spend money. Okay, no problems. I'm not going to go into the money factor. That's different story. But I'm talking about managerial situation. This season, at least give us something, man. Us fans, we have suffered, man. Give us something to finish off this season. Do you know what I mean? Make your first proper decision. Get rid of Frank. If you don't want to bring in Poch, no problems. Give it to the players. I'm telling you right now, the players will do a better job. They will. Give it to Aspie, give it to Silva to put up a lineup, to do player manager role, to do the tactic.
I think the league's become too systematic and tactical now. I think I would have agreed with you in the Gareth Southgate Middlesbrough days when he was player manager, and it was up against the Gary Megsons and the Owen Coyles and the Tim Sherwoods.
We done it with Yarley, didn't we?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. I would agree with you. If it was those years, I would agree with you. Yeah. But if you get those players, because we have one of the highest IQ players of all time managing us currently, right?
Nah, bro, I don't buy that, bro.
If we get these players to organize themselves, I promise you, we are potentially going to break the record for the defeat of the season. You see what happened to Spurs against Newcastle? I am not ruling out that against Manchester City at the Etihad. Maybe not Arsenal, because Arsenal are going through it right now. They need to recover, so they'll just slap us nicely 4-0. Manchester City with Haaland, I promise you, we will see double digits. We will see the biggest defeat of Premier League history. Premier League history. If we go, I'm telling you, I really do fear for us. I remember
you have to watch those games.
No, said we won't win again this season.
That day will play all the defenders. That day will play all the defenders that are.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many defenders we play.
Bro, line them all up in the goals. It don't matter,
bro. The only way we're not going to concede 10 goals against Man City is if we line them all up in the goal. Agreed. And they all
10-0-0.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the Lampard point, keeping him now, if I'm a player, I'm not listening to him. But I'm straight up. I'm putting earbuds on. I'm not listening to you.
I don't know.
I'll see you on match day. I will see you on match day. So this is what I was saying. I think it's detrimental. Like,
it is at this point, yeah.
I don't think we're not going to win a game this season. For the rest of the season, we're not going to win a game. Nottingham Forest beat Brighton.
They beat Brighton 3-1.
And Bournemouth, I don't even need to speak on Bournemouth because they've actually spoke for themselves by beating Liverpool, by losing 3-2 at Arsenal, by beating Tottenham. So I can't see another. I genuinely now cannot see another win. If we get a point, I'd be impressed. I'd be very impressed if we salvage together
1 point versus Forest.
Yeah, 1 or 2 points max. I'd be impressed because I'm looking at our fixtures. And it's Arsenal away, and it's Man United away, and it's City away, and it's Newcastle at home, and it's not going to run.
Can you imagine us at the Etihad,
brother? I've got to do, bro. I don't know, bro.
Do you know what?
We play United at Old Trafford. That would be a pasting.
Yeah. It feels like no one's accountable anymore. Like, no one's accountable at a football club. Like, owners bring in they sack Potter, they bring in Frank Lampard, apparently to give us some fighting chance against Madrid and to finish off the season with a little bit of, impetus. But now he goes on a 5-match losing streak. and it seems like no one's accountable. It's okay. It's just carry on.
But if this all circles back to preseason under Tuchel, and I understand they fell out, cool. We don't need to revisit that for the people that are watching. But if the preseason is an excuse, check this. It's more of an excuse under Tuchel than it is now for two reasons. A, because when Tuchel left, he had the players that went through that preseason. He had the players that went through those 3 time zones, that traveled from left to right across America. Because Todd Boehly wanted to advertise us like crazy. But also, he was the one that had to actually try and salvage that, right? In terms of, he's the one that actually had no new players in January that were fully fit. No time to build fitness because it was closer to preseason against Leeds and Southampton. Those capitulations, Tottenham, they got up for it because it was a derby. Those fixtures are closer to preseason and not having a good preseason than now. Right now, okay, you didn't have a good preseason. Okay. Well, luckily, you have all of these breaks where you could have trained hard to get yourself up to scratch. Preseason is only 5-6 weeks long. I'm pretty sure it's been 5-6 weeks since preseason. Where's the training?
Facts.
Where's the training? Why when we had international breaks? Why when the Queen died? Why when the World Cup? Where's the training? Why now? Why are we struggling now? The preseason is a long way away. I'm confused.
Bro,
when Hazard had all of his burgers that one season and scored 1 goal, he was great at the end for Anfield. He was shit at the beginning and the middle. He only turned up at Anfield and scored that wonder goal after all them KFCs. So what's going on? We're at the end of the season now. Where's the fitness?
People are under the pretense that you can't get fit during a season. It's just all in preseason, and if you don't make it from day one,
that's the
you're screwed.
Point. That's the
cut-off point. Your body stops getting fitter at that point. It's game over.
Yeah.
You know, but this is the thing. I remember this excuse being made under Graham Potter, right? And then I made the case of, hang on. So we have a bad preseason. Fair enough. All right. We start off, it looks a little shaky, albeit now we look back, that was probably our best run of form. But we have Graham Potter come in, and we actually, for a few games, do you remember? We were winning. It was looking all right. Preseason wasn't a problem then, was it?
Preseason wasn't a problem then.
No, it wasn't a problem.
We accumulated most of our points, 10 points, when we just come off the back of preseason.
But we came first in the Champions League group stage after being last.
Yeah.
And we beat AC Milan home and away, didn't we? Preseason wasn't a problem for them. AC Milan are in the semi-final now, but that's preseason wasn't a problem. But now preseason's a problem. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Was it somewhat disruptive? Of course it was. It wasn't ideal to have preseason all across United States, and we could see the players in their Instagram, in the clubs having fun, and we were all saying it at that time. Every single one of our channels, we were saying it looks like a bit of a mad holiday.
It's a holiday.
It's not preseason. We all said it very early, and it came into fruition even more when we got slapped up by Arsenal, who looked so ruthless in preseason. They were a team that took preseason so seriously, setting themselves up for the season. And hey, are you surprised? I know they're bottling the title challenge, but this is overachievement. I don't think they've ever imagined that they would be in a title challenge. I think they probably expected, after being, what did they finish, 5th or 6th, whatever, they'd probably crack into top 4. But we, on the other hand, we could see, okay, that probably wasn't ideal. But this is the thing about Thomas Tuchel. Now, people will hate it in the comments, I'm pretty sure. But at least if we had just given Thomas Tuchel the kind of time that we've given Graham Potter, I'm pretty certain a caliber of manager of his quality, we would not be 11th.
No. I when people tell me that we were on a downward trajectory, I can hear it. But 11th? Are you trying to tell me that we couldn't be at least competitive? We have to be in relegation form. Everything that predates this situation, we go back to Roman, because I agree, right? Some of the things that we did under the previous ownership have maybe, led to this situation and not helped with the Rudiger and Christensen contracts, all the way back to maybe, the De Bruyne Salah situations under Mourinho and not having the right manager paired up with the right director. going with a youth model and having a winner now, kind of, and not having the connection between the youth in terms of the recruitment, like they said when they came in the first team, because our first team recruitment has stunk and the youth recruitment has been brilliant. I understand all of that. So it predates. It's not all just, when Roman left, suddenly everything just went left, because when Roman was here, we wasn't competing for the league. We were still not, we hadn't had a title win since 2017. And we're quite fortunate in a way that he got that Tuchel appointment spot on, because otherwise we wouldn't have a Champions League and we wouldn't have won a trophy for how many years now, because we lost all of them Wembley finals. So it's not all rosy on Roman's side towards the back end, and Marino and Bakayoko and Baba Rahman and all of these signings. It's not rosy. But Lord have mercy, is it not 11th with relegation form? There's levels to this game here.
Yeah.
You can have a bad season because you've had it coming, and the recruitment has been stinky, and you've been mixing managers and formations and systems, and you haven't prepared from top to bottom, and you can finish 7th or 6th, but 11th, and 11th because you got points in September when you would actually be 16th. Come on now.
And 11th with an asterisk, because it's not over.
Bro, we're dropping. Oh, we're dropping.
And when you look at the points, we're going into 15th.
More than you can believe.
That's what I predicted. I said we would probably be 15th, 16th.
We're not holding 11th with that fixture list. I have no doubts about it.
I think we've been 11th for past 1 month. Aston Villa was behind us when we faced them.
Because
they are 5th right now.
The more you drop, the harder it is to fall. It's harder to fall down here because these teams down here, they don't win enough games. That's why they're down here. When you're at the top, you lose one game, you go second. City, you're on your ass. You come out, next thing you know, Newcastle United, even the top 4 race is really diabolical. If we had something competent going on, we'd be making top 4. But the further you fall, the more difficult it gets to fall. And funnily enough, when Aston Villa overtook us, now they're what, 5th?
Yeah.
But 12th, 13th, 14th. If you drop below, it's not easy. These guys will go 6 games, like you said, Brentford, 6-7 games without a win. But these guys will still overtake us because we're that shit. That's how you know we're that bad. Because when you're getting overtaken by teams that don't really... These teams are on the beach around us. These teams around us are on the beach. Brentford's not getting European football. Palace, they're not getting relegated. Wolves, not getting relegated under Lopetegui. Bournemouth, probably just about going to be all right as well. These teams are about to approach their beach settings. And we're still going to be below them. I mean, it's incredible.
And this is where I get really worried about next season, is that is it just a flick of a finger that it all changes?
Exactly.
Like Poch comes in, he goes, okay, 35 players in the squad. Okay, get rid of 10, make it 25. All right, let's go preseason. Let's work hard. Okay, season started. All right, now is it just like that? Is it just like that? I can't help to think that the damage that has caused this season, it could have months of repercussions.
Yes. And this is why, bro, when you asked me, because obviously I was the first person, this is why we're going to move on to Poch, and we're going to move on to Lukaku as well. Just that'll be the closing kind of good way to wrap it up, I guess. This is why when you asked me, like, with Poch, what are your expectations? Because I was firmly good on Poch. I think he was one of the, if not the best option for where we're currently at. And obviously everybody here had their own, Baba had Simeone, Jose, and Enrique. And when you use like expectations, I say the normal expectation is top 4, especially with no European football, and go and win a cup. Right? Yeah. That is what we should be doing under normal circumstances. That is, if you're not in Europe, I expect you to get top 4 and I expect you to win a cup. Try and at least, if you get unlucky, a dodgy Anthony Taylor in the final, that can happen. A sending off, Pulisic scores against Arsenal, it all goes left, gets injured. Things can happen. It's a cup. But I expect you to go for those cups, like Ten Hag has done. Basically what Ten Hag has had this season.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
That's what I kind of expect, because I rate Poch. So I expect you to do well. But the way you're putting it, those are my expectations. But I would not be surprised, bro, if we don't hit those. Because Lukaku, Matt Law, guys, what are your thoughts on that? Because I think people are having very short-term memory loss right now. They're saying to me, oh, we just need to add goals to this. Are we doing this again? Arsenal with Jesus and Trossard. Man United with no striker this season because Martial's been in hospital, and Weghorst is a freeze frame basically up there, right? But they're comfortably in the top 4, and we're seeing Isak at Newcastle contributing to multiple facets of play, being able to dribble, being able to take people on, being able to score goals. And our chance creation for some people looks better, but we're mid-table for chance creation, so don't get too ahead of yourselves because we're not Man City. But we're going to go back to the box striker who needs service, because if Enzo gets injured, we're fucked. And he doesn't want to be here. And we're willing to go through that again because we need goals. Are you kidding me? Under a manager like Poch, who people told me can't deal with egos and wants to press from the front and wants intensity and wants distance covered. Are you taking the fucking piss, bro? I swear to you, bro, when I made that video, I lost my head when I made that Lukaku video. This is something I will not bend on. On this channel, you will not see me flip. I don't care if this brother writes an apology letter. No second chances, because I cannot trust your word. And let me tell you this, the risk is not worth the reward. It's not worth it. I'm not willing to sabotage another season with a striker up front that waves his arms up in the air, has a heavy first touch when we're going up against a deep block on a tight Stamford Bridge at home to Wolves, can't fucking control the football. I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. I'm watching Alvarez's. I'm watching Isak's. I'm watching Jesus's, Trossard's. And you're trying to tell me that this guy who doesn't even want to be here is going to get a second chance because of finances. Oh, you should have thought about finances before we spent 600 million. I don't want to hear about finances. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't want to hear about finances. I don't want to hear, oh, we need to keep Lukaku because his contract's till 2025. I'm not interested. Handle your business. Handle your business. You better find another solution because I'm not jeopardizing another season because let me tell you, each position in the Premier League is money. So it's just saving money to lose money. When saving money to lose money. This is why I was so against the whole Ronaldo thing. And he is 10 years, even in the Saudi league, above what I'm talking about with Lukaku, right? But in terms of a static striker, in terms of somebody who is not contributing to multiple facets of play, somebody that absolutely dies on chance creation, he needs to be in the box, needs that. He hasn't even been fit this season. He's been overweight. 37-year-old Edin Dzeko is starting ahead of him. And nobody wants him in Europe. And the team that is meant to be for the future, the super team, high ambitions, new stadium, that's the team that's going to take this guy. That's the team that's going to take this guy. When people speak about Felix, see, this is why Atletico don't want Felix. Why should we want him? But you're willing to take Lukaku, who nobody in Europe wants. The logic is not logicking. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. Go and get a new striker. Go and get a new striker. Giroud is better than this guy. 100%. Giroud is better than this guy and cheaper. I don't want to hear, oh, we can't afford. You can go and get someone cheap. Go scout. Go scout. That's what you have scouts for. That's what this whole recruitment director, whole shenanigans is, right? We got a director for everything. We got a director for the tea, for the coffee.
Bro, just get Antonio from West Ham.
Bro, go and get someone else. Go and get someone else because we're talking about squad harmony and we're talking about changing room dynamics. Todd Boehly storming in with his American accent with Lukaku. Yo! Yeah.
The only thing that's missing from is Jay-Z.
Y'all tripping, dog. Y'all tripping. When Todd Boehly comes storming into the change room because Lukaku's not giving his all. People are talking about giving your all on the football pitch. Oh, these guys aren't trying enough. Questioning the mentality of the players. Poch can't deal with egos. Distance covered. Young influence, young players like Mudryk and Madueke who could be very influenced by the type of player we have in the change room, the type of leadership, the type of ego. Somebody that thinks that they're one of the leaders. Not Drogba, Lukaku. Not Lampard when he was playing for us, Lukaku. Not Terry, Lukaku. This is going to be one of our leaders in the dressing room. People think that Lukaku is going to come and sit on the bench and be all quiet and clap on the sidelines and cheer the team on. I swear, guys, this is something that will make me break equipment. I'm telling you. This is something that will next season, it will turn me insane if I have to watch this. I'm telling you. This is a team that already struggle against deep blocks, and that's the striker people come to me with. not strikers that can dribble past players.
Yeah,
Guys,
it's inexplicable, bruv. It's like people actually think he's the only striker that's out there. You know, the only available one, and if it's not Lukaku, then we're screwed. You know, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm with you on this, Matisse, is he could be the last striker on the planet, and I still won't have him back. Like, he could be the only number 9 left in world football. I'd rather play a goalkeeper up front. Screw it, you know, because the damage that was done back then isn't all of a sudden just reversible, like it never happened, you know. And on top of that, you add everything that Matisse has just said now in terms of what he actually brings. Forget the apology and forget all of that. Just what do you even bring as a striker?
It's Dory stuff, bro.
And even then, yeah, it does not fit, you know. I would even say there's a certain style of playing. There's a certain way to structure a team to fit a player like Lukaku. But even then, I mean, as you said, he can't even get into Inter Milan. So what are we doing? You know, we're in this situation because it seems like we could be tight for options and we could be tight for spending. And I guarantee it's only being touted as a possibility because he might just be the only one we can possibly turn to instead of actually going out and spending, because we might be restricted on spending because we don't know how much we're going to sell for.
Here's a bright idea. I do it every year on Football Manager. Search the free agents. Who's running out of contract in the striker position? Go take a look. Are we allergic to getting someone on a free? This whole notion of is like, oh, we must spend 80, 90, 100 million. No, we don't. We don't have to.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't have to. I've seen plenty of successful strikers throughout the league that didn't actually cost a truckload. How much was Ivan Toney? Yeah, how much would Mitrovic? No, but not even Mitrovic now. But how much was Mitrovic when they paid for him? How much was Ivan Toney when they paid for him? How much was these strikers when they paid for them? How much was Ferguson from Ireland? He was nothing. They took him from my school and they fucking used him. They took him from my university and they used him. So I don't want to hear these excuses because you've hired all the recruitment staff now. So if you can't afford to cake out on a striker, who says caking out on a striker is going to work? Every time we make a record number 9 striker, a signing, a big name, 70 million, 80 million, they all fail anyway. So go down the cheap route. Go and scout, get the raw attributes going, and go and cook something up. There's no excuse for Lukaku. There's absolutely no excuse. No excuse.
The thing about Lukaku is he sabotaged the club single-handedly. Like we've had previous... We previously had players where they were disgruntled. They left the club on a loan for this, that, the other reasons. And post-season, we would probably ponder and discuss that. Should we give them another chance? And you know what? At least they didn't burn the bridges. Like they were just disgruntled about certain things. They were not getting enough game time. They went elsewhere. They found maybe not happiness there either. Should we give them? This is not the same case. This is a case where this particular player called for an interview unsanctioned, talked down on Chelsea Football Club, talked down on the gaffer that was in charge then, talked down on all the players, and also talked up Inter Milan and his love affair for that particular club, all on TV for us to see.
Even now, he wants to stay.
He wants to stay. Then he goes on for the entire season sulking and moaning and apparently even insulting some of his colleagues that they weren't good enough in the training ground and this, that, the other. This is the player we want to come back.
Imagine him in this situation, like
exactly
the situation we are in right now. Imagine Lukaku in the squad.
He would. Where is the soul? Like
next season,
there has to be a soul.
The dressing room would have exploded like anything.
But the thing is, like, next season is not going to be plain sailing. So you need the right mentalities on board for when things go wrong.
Exactly.
If you think that Poch isn't going to start losing a couple of games in the season, you're wrong. We are going to go through a patch of losing.
Now,
And I
again,
need-
the same question. Is manager being asked about this?
No, do you know what it is, bro? Poch, the narrative is that Poch will work with anyone, so therefore give him the worst. Give him the devil in disguise. Because he'll work with anyone. So if Poch wants him, do you know what? I can safely say that he doesn't suit the way Poch wants to play,
No, it doesn't.
or the way that Poch has played, and he doesn't suit the character that Poch likes in terms of the egos that he couldn't deal with at PSG. So I'm going to speak on behalf of Poch. No, Poch doesn't need this, and Poch shouldn't get this. And if Poch actually genuinely wanted this, you override him like Klopp was overrided with Julian Brandt and Götze, because it's that deep. You tell Poch, who might not know the severity of the situation, let me advise you. This is the situation with him. This is what has happened in the past. And this is the way that you play and your fundamentals and your principles. And he doesn't run with that. And even if he tells you that he runs with that, we can't trust him, because last time he told us that he was back for business and that he would do anything the manager asked of him. Because the narrative is so stupid for me. Oh, Tuchel used him wrong. When this guy arrived, he said he can do anything the manager
He's multifaceted.
He said he's multifaceted. I can do whatever.
With his own
Because
mouth.
I'm complete. I'm Lewandowski. I'm Suarez. I'm Benzema. I can do whatever you need.
Ego.
So then when you're asked to do
I
whatever
don't even
you
think
need,
he's Danny Ings.
when you're asked to do whatever you need, you can't do it. And people are talking about, oh, he only disrespected the gaffer. He disrespected the fans. He disrespected the club. Not just the manager.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as David Luiz celebrating against us for PSG. It's not the same as Courtois wanting to go back to Spain and Mourinho not sanctioning the move early enough and him skipping training. It's not the same as Hazard speaking to the Belgian press. It's not the same as Poch defending Tottenham at the Battle of the Bridge and never speaking a bad word about Chelsea publicly. It's not the same. Your comparisons that people will bring to me are washed comparisons, I'm afraid. And I understand. People want to be forgiven. People want to see the good. People want to give it another go. I'm not willing to take that risk, because this season has been so shambolic and so bad that we cannot go through this again due to any individual. Not the owner, not a player, not anybody. We need to get right back on track, because this league is getting too competitive to piss around. Newcastle are going to spend. Aston Villa have got money. West Ham will have got money. And if they sack Moyes and go with someone maybe more suited to Scamacca's, get a decent coaching, you actually never know. They've been in Europe for back-to-back seasons. They could win the Conference League and be qualified for Europa League.
Spurs might get Nagelsmann.
Brother, there's no time for games. I don't know what this roll the dice is attitude, but I'm not playing it. I'm not playing this game. This ain't snakes and ladders. We've been on enough snakes.
And it's not like there aren't any strikers available. Why is no one talking about Jonathan David?
This is the thing, but this goes back, and I have to go back to the ownership here, right? Because
Correct.
when you look at the Lukaku situation, we were there. All of us were there as fans, but we were there, right? Roman was there, Tuchel was there, Mourinho was there, all them lot were there. Boehly wasn't there, Iqbali wasn't there, Winstanley wasn't there, Stewart wasn't there. Lampard wasn't there, let alone Poch. He wasn't there. Everyone that's at Chelsea Football Club was not there when the Lukaku stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
So even in their eyes, they're looking and going, hey, we've got a striker that was worth a lot of money at some sort of time. Let's bring him back, right? Whereas we know just how detrimental that will be, because even us as fans, we were there. And Lukaku had to issue his PR apology to us. So when you look at how bad we see it, I don't think that's how bad they see it. I think, and this is where it gets dangerous. This is the point I've been making about the ownership and whatnot. I'm scared that they don't see things through the same lens, right? And for them, in their eyes, they see a striker like Lukaku who's worth a lot of money, and they look at the data because they're so data driven, right? Not even data as a tool, like I've said. They're so data driven. Like the data must drive everything now, right? They're probably looking at Lukaku going, but he fits the metrics. let's bring him in. He's our player. We don't have to pay a penny. He's our player. Just bring him back, right? I guarantee they're probably pushing for the narrative to try and see what reception is going to be brought back, so then they can pursue.
This is
getting
why I
Lukaku
put him on. That's
back
why
to
I
the
put it
club.
on blast immediately. I put it on
Exactly.
blast from the
100%.
moment that report dropped. My head was hot, and I don't really tend to rant about much, but this player in particular sends me onto next levels of ranting and sends me to new levels of rage, because I just put my foot down immediately. I was like, if you're looking at the TL, I need to be one of those guys that just said unequivocally no from the get-go. At least then I know that if you saw it and you're going by the fan opinion, then at least I made myself clear. And if everybody else wants to kind of get on board with it, then all good. But if this guy says to us that he's on board for the season, and then Poch asks him to do something that he's not comfortable with, and he flips or he starts doing a madness again, the thing is,
you know what you signed up for.
The thing is with Lukaku is I'm afraid he's broken trust.
Yeah.
He's broken trust. It's as simple as that. I do not trust him. It's not about whether or not I like watching him. It's not about whether or not even the disrespect. It's the fact that he's broken trust, because I can't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. He's too bipolar in his actions. He's too unstable in his actions. I do not know what's coming next with this guy. And that is not the way to start a season. We're meant to be starting a season fresh. Meant to be starting a season with some optimism. The season is already difficult enough as it is, because as we all know, as much as I'm happy to see Poch, we know that Poch with this fan base is like this. Yeah. It's very, very, very loose. Very loose. It only takes 3 games on the bounce where we lose, and this fan base is going to lay into Poch.
Yeah.
So
Spurs this, Spurs that. Yeah.
So you need to make everything around Poch as calm as possible. That's why I don't want him in right now personally, because this situation is now just a joke. I don't want him to get off to this kind of start. If he comes in against Arsenal and he loses, unfortunately he's going to get some blame. I want him to get the best footing possible at the start of next season. And even the preseason is going to be a mess anyway. So he's not even going to get a perfect preseason, but it is what it is. The preseason is going to be a mess with the amount of players we have. So it's the equivalent of having loads of problems in life, and you've got debt, and you've got this, and you've got that, and you go and find more problems. We have enough problems. We don't need more. I assure you, we have enough problems going into next season as it is. So many problems. I can't even count the amount of problems we have. So why then go and add another problem? Why then go and add another gamble? I don't get it.
This is the thing.
This is why I've been saying the very first people that need to fix up is our owners, and also you can throw in the board as well. The fact that Matt Law came up with an article that had a snippet saying Chelsea will ask, like as if we, Lukaku owns us. We'll ask Lukaku.
We've sent Messi on loan.
Yeah, like we'll ask Lukaku if he's willing to revive his Chelsea. Why are we begging this guy? Dear Lukaku, do you want to revive your Chelsea career? What are we doing?
Yes, this is where I say I can't lie and say that I'm not scared. I'm not frightened about where things are actually heading. I have to be, because you can't ask owners if they show every single sign of not knowing what they're doing, all of a sudden now they know what they're doing. It's just, but, that's not how it works. But with the Lukaku situation, if we go back to like 15-16, for example, a season where we plummeted, right, as we defined it, to the depths of hell at that time. For us, that was quite unbelievable, right? Even though we know this season is much worse. But why? Back then, we knew at least there was one fundamental issue going on that disrupted everything. And once that fundamental issue was resolved, everything would steer back onto track, right? Hence why the season after we won the league. It was an isolated incident with the doctor and Jose, and then, legal stuff between them, and it disrupted everything, right? It's common knowledge as to how the team got affected with that. Fine. With this, it's not that. With this, it's like the entire structure has just collapsed, Do you know what I mean? And now it's like everyone's baffled and lost, and there's no actual solution. You know, when you look at a Lukaku, for example, coming in, I genuinely don't believe that with the team and the players, that there's players that don't like each other or players that are not on the same page. I genuinely think that there's players that are lost, but no one is, against each other. You bring in a Lukaku into that environment, and I guarantee you're going to start splitting the team into pieces. Guarantee that there's going to start all of a sudden. There's going to be players hating other players, 100%, and that will make it even worse than how it is now. It's just going into next season, everything needs to be right, and I can't say that it will be. This is just where we are.
It probably won't be, but we can make it at least 75% normal, if possible, at a bare minimum. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Lord Jesus. Anyway, this topic will forever inflame me. So let me just compose myself.
I don't think so. Ownership would have talked so much about Lukaku the time we have taken to discuss about him.
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. But the fact that it's even a possibility just infuriates me. It's one of those things for me that are just non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
Let me tell you something though, Matisse. I know you're going to hate hearing this. It is a damn possibility, but sad to say, it is a damn possibility. This is what I said in my video the other day when this news broke. Sadly, this is actually a legitimate possibility. So,
for the finances,
yeah,
he's contracted until 2025, 325k a week.
We need a particular. I read the article from the Athletic. We need approximately somewhere around 60 million bid to break even on this guy. He's got 3 more years left. With 2 years amortized, we would minimum need about 60 million. No one is paying 60 million for this guy.
I think this is one of them players you don't need to break even on. The only issue I have with Lukaku is does he know Chinese?
The thing is, because our owners have gone out and spent so much, and because our finances for the past few seasons are in the negative, and this coming season will be again in the negative because we don't make enough money, I don't know if they will be willing to incur more losses.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think that's a fundamental issue for them.
Well, then they need to find a loan fee and subsidize the wages and keep loan. He needs to be the new Bakayoko of loans.
Correct. Correct.
And if he wants to go to America, more than you can believe. You want to go to Saudi, make loads of money, more than you can believe. You want to go to anywhere. You can go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. You can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere. That is the way I'm going to end it. Miz, let the people know where to find you. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a good episode, man. As sad as it's been, but I think it's been good therapy as well. The other side of the coin, I think we're about 100 something away from 22,000. So let's get there. Come on, guys. Let's get to 22,000. And there's no Chelsea game. So woohoo.
Well, yes.
Do you guys get longer comments now in your YouTube videos? Like
huge essays.
Essays.
Essays now, man.
This is what we're on now. People are sending paragraphs, like books,
like detailed as well, very detailed.
Volume 1, Volume 2.
Oh. Younes, let them know where to find you. A pleasure, bro.
Yeah, bro. We've got to play Arsenal on Tuesday, so up until that point, I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess, innit? So preview for that on Monday. I don't want to do that preview. So Younes Talks Football. I'll give my thoughts to the latest and what's going on. I fully expect Lampard to be in charge for it, even though I think we've all come to the consensus he shouldn't. And life goes on, I guess.
It does. Baba, let the people know where to find you, bro. Pleasure. Great show.
Good therapy session. Feeling a bit light now. And just hope everything gets sorted and Lukaku is not anywhere near the club come this summer. Drogbaba, same as always. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Do follow me on Twitter. That's where it's going down. You will get my unfiltered. That is where you get my unfiltered, unadulterated version. So I am a bit reserved when it comes to YouTube, but if you want my
because of course you need to monetize. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday I had to really,
Yeah.
I was angry, but I really had to be careful with my words because if I say certain things, I'll be suspended.
So yeah,
Guys, it's been a great therapy session. I think it's very much needed. I hope that this helps everybody go forward with their content, for the rest of the week till we see each other again after slapping against Arsenal and we do it all over again.
More than you can believe.
More than you can believe.
Before we go, has anyone got predictions for that?
I'm gonna go
4-0.
4-0
Arsenal.
Yeah, 4-0. Yeah.
Holy.
And the only reason it won't be more is because their confidence is low.
So what's going to
Nil
happen
is,
against City?
6-0.
I prefer not to speak.
We'll get to that when we get to that.
I guess nil is a constant. We won't score goals. It's just a matter of how many opposition will get. So yeah, 2 each is own.
Yeah.
Kill us softly, eh?
4-0 could be perceived as that's a good job.
A decent result.
I'll tell you what, when it happens, it won't sound like a good job when I speak on it because I'll be fuming.
That's for sure. But now I'm thinking 4 is all right.
Every
If they
time-
slap us 6 or 7.
Every time I try to speak on this club, every time I try to watch a game, I think, oh yeah, I'm not really gonna mind what happens because season's over. And every time, emotionally, they get me. They just find new levels. Like you said in your review, new levels of low. They just keep sinking. So, and it's a pride thing. It's a pride thing. We're meant to be the pride of London, and we're getting slapped up by all of London. So it doesn't really make any sense.
Mate, we're not even the pride of Fulham at the moment. Or
By the way, have we been
Fulham Road.
slapped up by all of London? Fulham,
We've lost
Brentford,
to Fulham. We've lost to
Crystal
Fulham.
Palace, we did a double over. Crystal
Palace.
They are the worst team in league because the team on which Chelsea does a double is the worst team in the league.
Facts.
Facts.
Because we didn't do the double over Leeds, Southampton, none of them. Everton.
We only won 6
we
games
beat
apparently
Everton at
since
home.
November.
No, we drew with Everton 2-2.
Oh, sorry, we
I
drew-
was in
we
the
drew,
stadium
yeah.
for that
Yes.
game. Please
Yes.
don't remind me of that
Didn't
game.
even do the double against Everton.
We only won 6 times since November apparently, so I don't think there'll be too many doubles.
No.
Crystal Palace is the only double. Crystal Palace is the only double.
They
Wow.
must feel so ashamed.
They should actually feel ashamed.
Gunny put it quite nicely, Manos Football, where he said Chelsea have done a good job from turning SW6 into SW9. You'll get that, Matisse.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
SW9 being a very ghetto place in London, just saying.
Oh wow.
Well,
Sums it up.
there you go. Guys, we'll be back next week. This has been very good therapy session. So I hope everybody's enjoyed. Until next time, in a bit, people. Peace.